Yes, yes. Hi, Madhu.
Hi, how are you girls doing?
Great. Wonderful.
Wonderful. Excited for today?
Yes.
We are all in our bestest of
All in the best state for the
Yes.
best activities that are going to happen today, the best discussions. Yes? All of you hit the chat box and tell me how excited are you?
10 on 10.
Quickly, all of you, 10 on 10. Come on, everybody, go to the chat box. Tell me how excited are you for today's session? On toes? Very excited, very excited. 10 on 10, 10 on 10. This is one place I really need help. Okay. 10 on 10, very excited. Okay, so can we do one thing? So Dhanishta has already joined us here, who's going to help me out today. She's an amazing coach, brilliant intimacy coach. I haven't seen anyone with as much clarity on intimacy as much as Dhanishta has. But we can't welcome her on this call with such chup chap wale faces. We have to make some noise, we have to put some energy so that she can come in and she can pass on her energy to you. Yeah. So on a count of three, I want all of you to do something. Move your body, shake your body, scream, shout, do whatever you can to build up the energy and show her how excited are you to welcome her. Yeah, so we do this on a count of three. All of you on your cameras, turn your cameras on. I don't want even a single person to be on the cameras off. So everyone, turn your cameras on quickly. And if you want to unmute, unmute on a count of three. We're going to show our energies and we're going to welcome Dhanishta because she's such amazing surprises for you today and such amazing things she's going to discuss today. By the end of the session, I know all of you will be hungry to learn more from her. This is one topic which I think nobody talks about, nobody discusses about, and each one of us, including me, we have so many questions in our head कि क्या होता है, कैसे होता है, क्यों होता है, कैसे नहीं होता है, हर चीज के बारे में इतने सारे questions होते हैं, and she will help us out, but then we need to show her how interested we are and how excited we are. So are we ready? Give a thumbs up if we are ready. And I'm going to give you a count of three. All right. Three, two, one. Say Dhanishta! Come on, a huge round of applause and let's welcome Dhanishta. Hi, Dhanishta.
Hi, thank you so much for that. Woo, so excited to be here.
We're so glad to have you.
Ah.
Have never been as energetic as they are today. They're desperately waiting for you to start the session and take it on.
Yeah!
I'm so energized.
I'm so excited. Yes, amazing. I love this. I love this topic, and I love that all of you are here to just the fact that each and every one of you has shown up here is already healing our ancestors' wounds. So thank you. From all of the women in the world who have suppressed their sexuality and have never thought about it and have continued to live like they just have to deal with this aspect of life, from all of them, thank you.
It's our pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, love. So I'm really excited for today. I'm just going to quickly take you through what we're going to do. So we're going to start with a quick breathing practice so that you can all come here fully, get fully embodied. And then we're going to talk about some of the craziest myths from our own ancestry about Shiv Parvati, about Kali, about all of these gods and goddesses. And we're going to talk about how everything is sex. Everything is sex. Okay. Something about the spotlight. I have no idea how to work any of these controls. Yeah.
We can see Divyangi and Madhu.
All right.
Also, so maybe you can stop spotlighting those two.
Okay.
Usha, please remove the spotlight from me and Divyani and put it only on Dhanishta. I think it's on Divyani too. Divya Rani, not Divyani. Thank you. Go ahead, Dhanishta.
Okay. Thank you. So once we're done talking a bit about the myths and the legends and what really were they trying to say about women and their sexuality and what has it become now? What it's become now is definitely not what they were trying to say. That's a little spoiler for you. And then we're going to do a sensitivity building pleasure practice that is one of my favorites. It's the most gentle, most kind way to start building a relationship with yourself and to start really creating that self intimacy that will not just attract the next man that you want, but really create that sense that within you, that at any point, whenever you want it, you can have the kind of relationship you want. You can have the pleasure you want, you can have the bliss, the desire, everything that you want, if everything is grounded in you. So that's our main topic today. I want to start us off with a quick breathing practice. So the way we're going to breathe, I'm just going to put this down so you can see. It's going to be belly first, then chest, belly, chest, and out. Can you not hear me, guys?
You're audible, Ganesha.
Yeah? Okay. Okay. So, breathing from the mouth like a straw. Okay? First into the belly, into the belly, into the chest, and out. Into the belly, into the chest, and out. Okay? Clear to everyone? Any questions? We're going to do 30 rounds of this.
No, it's not clear.
Not
Can
clear?
we repeat like inhaling or exhaling?
Inhaling into the belly first. Inhale into the belly, into the chest, and out together.
Okay.
Yeah? So this is called the shamanic breath. And that's all I'm going to say before you do it. I want you to do it and then tell me what you experience. And we can talk about why it's called the shamanic breath after. Okay? We're going to do 30 rounds of this, and then we're going to do an inhale retention. So you breathe in and you hold. You hold the in-breath. And your body is already super oxygenated, so you'll be able to hold for longer. But you hold as long as you can, and then we stop and we start another round. We're going to do 3 rounds like this of 30 breaths each. Okay? Clear? Awesome. Let's start together. Yeah? Set everything aside. Don't hold anything in your lap or in your hands. You know, keep yourself free. Sit comfortably. And we're going to start together. Inhale into the belly, into the chest, and out. Breathing only from your mouth. Belly, chest, exhale. Belly, chest, exhale. You can close your eyes. Belly, chest, exhale. 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 If you're finding it difficult, you can move from the nose to the mouth. Breathe in from the nose and out from the mouth. Belly, chest, exhale. 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 Last 4. Last 2. Last 1. Now breathe all the way in and hold. And keep it held. Just holding your breath. And let yourself float. Close your eyes and let yourself go. Feel your heartbeat. Feel the sensations alive in your body right now. And be there for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back, and we're going to start another round. Stay with your eyes closed. Belly, chest, exhale. 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 Yes, you can breathe through the nose if it's difficult for you, yeah? Belly, chest, exhale. 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 Last 5. Belly, chest, exhale. 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 One more. Belly, chest, all the way out. And breathe in all the way. And hold. Staying with your eyes closed. And letting yourself feel the sensations in your body right now. These sensations are your deepest power. These sensations, this aliveness, all these emotions, all of this. As a woman, this is your deepest power. That's why we're here, to connect with our power. So stay there for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale all the way. Breathing normally for a few seconds. And we're going to get into our last round. Start with me. Belly, chest, exhale. Belly, chest, exhale. Belly, chest, exhale. If you're using an AC, switch it off. Chest, exhale. Belly, 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 chest, exhale. 5 more. Belly, chest, exhale. 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 1 more. Belly, chest, exhale. All the way. Breathe all the way in and hold. And just feeling your heartbeat. Feeling your body, getting in touch with any sensation of heat or cold or electricity, of the wind touching your face, touching your skin. Just getting in touch with what's present in your body. Our ancestors across cultures have said that this is our deepest power. So begin to discover that. What feels powerful about these sensations? Holding that for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Breathing all the way out, and you can hold at the bottom. Hold on an empty lung for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Taking a few deep breaths here, and we're going to sigh it out together. Breathe in, and with a loud, audible sound, I want you to sigh it out. Ah. Yes, once more. Ah. Yes. One more time. Louder. Ah. Yes. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for engaging with me. So, how did that feel? Does anyone have a guess for why that's called shamanic breath? Put it in the chat. How did it feel? What do you think about it? What are you experiencing right now? If you did it, you cried, Fiona, thank you for sharing. Energizing, very soothing. Heat in the center, cold around it. Center of what? Your chest, your body? Energizing, soothing, shaken all over, cold, energized, relaxed. Invented by shamans. Yes, it was invented by shamans. What is this meditation? So this is called the shamanic breath. And it's essentially, it was invented by shamans. But the reason they called it this is because they became shamans through this breathing. So when they started to breathe like this, and they discovered how deep the breath can go, was difficult at first, then it was numb. Yes, that can be what's present in the body sometimes. I hear you, Devyani. And this is a good place to start to work on yourself. But we'll talk more about this. That's what this session is about. So the shaman said, when they breathe like this, that they become capable of transcending their own body. So they can see things from above, which is what the shamans needed to do to take care of the whole village, the whole community. They needed to be able to see from above, to see from this big picture perspective. And they could do that through this kind of breathing. And the more they practiced it every day, they became more and more shaman-like in their normal life, because it became a muscle that was just trained. And the same thing that takes you up there is the thing that takes you within. It's the focus, the space of where am I, who am I, and where am I? And that's what the shamans were able to get in touch with, the center of their self. And when you're in touch with your center, which is your spine, your chakras, right? What everyone has talked about when they say being straight, being in integrity, This is what they're speaking of, that you're centered, that you're one with yourself, which means you have connection with the earth and the sky. And what does that mean? The earth is your body, and the sky is spirit, consciousness, God, whatever you want to call it, the soul, right? And it's connecting those two that creates intimacy. And that's what the shamans were speaking of. And that's what breathing and pranayam and our ancestors with yoga, with tantra, everything, this is what they were saying. They were teaching us everything about intimacy. So I want to know from you guys, what do you think intimacy is? What is intimacy to you?
Feeling comfortable with your partner.
Mm-hmm. Feeling comfortable, soul connection, deep connection,
Feeling
closeness,
aligned and closest.
bonding with your partner, sense of pleasure, love, alignment in two bodies, connection with the self. Yes, understanding and feeling connected. Absolutely. Deep conversations, definitely a big part of it. Unfiltered sharing thoughts, feeling connected. Yes. Yes. I love this. What do you think creates intimacy? Like, how do you know this is the right person to share my thoughts with? How do you know this is the right person to become vulnerable with? Safety. Yes, safety definitely is a big part of intimacy. Comfort, touch and speech and thoughts. You feel secure, comfort, authenticity, no judgment, emotional maturity. Yes. When words align with action. Absolutely. That's integrity. What you're speaking of is exactly what it took me maybe 12 years to learn, because I was coming from a place of having experienced a lot of sexual trauma in my childhood. And for 6 years, I had gone through hell and back sexually. And it was something that I didn't really recognize as hellish because it wasn't overt. It wasn't someone is beating me up or raping me or some big incident is happening that is very clearly horrible. It was something that lived very deep within me because I was groomed. Does everyone know what grooming is? Grooming is when you tell a child what to feel sexually. Grooming is when you teach a child how to get into sex, how to get into bed with you. You teach them this is what you need to do to pleasure me, you know. And you're an adult, of course. So an adult comes to a child, teaches them about sex, and and gives them all these tools that they are not ready to receive, and the child just receives that, and then for the rest of their life their experience of sex is colored by that, because the first time is really important of anything, right? So so that's what I experienced for 6 years. And then and I didn't tell anyone about it because I was too scared, because this is our society, right? In India, if a child is going through something like that, they have no words, they have no language to tell anyone. What are they going to say? So I didn't say anything. And then it ended by itself. I took a stand at some point, and it ended. And then for the rest of time, every single day I would keep going back to that and keep thinking about it and keep feeling really bad about it and feeling weird about it. And my sexual fantasies were created by that, and my desire for men was created by that. And at some point I became this, few years later, I became suddenly this very desperate woman who just wanted her partner to love her. And that's all I could think about. And that's all I could feel. And it was wild because I myself didn't know how I got there. It was just a snowball that went. I was unconscious, And at some point I just became this desperate person, and I really couldn't recognize myself. And that's when I started this journey to learn everything I could about intimacy, about spirituality and sexuality, because I didn't want to be one of those people that says that no, my desires, my sexuality is now completely off and completely wrong. Because ultimately that's what the patriarchy is. The patriarchy is teaching women that your desire, your pleasure, your sexuality is wrong, because if you have all of that, then you are always going to be an object of male affection. So you're always going to be in danger. So you better leave all of that alone so that you're not in danger. But when you leave all of that alone, you also leave alone your desire, your pleasure, right? It's like saying my leg is causing me danger, so I'll just cut off my leg and walk. No, you can't just cut off a part of your body. You can't just cut off something that gives you so much desire, so much pleasure, so much of you. It's you, right? It's not some external thing that you have taken on. It's not a piece of cloth you're wearing, it's you. So I had to discover that, and that took me many, many years. But what I've come to now, and the kind of definition that I really prefer from all of my discovery, is Zoe Corr's definition. It's a beautiful book that I 100% recommend, Radical Intimacy by Zoe Corrs. And she speaks of intimacy on 3 levels and of 3 types. So she says that intimacy can be of 3 types: emotional, energetic, and physical. So, emotional intimacy is when I have someone with me that can deeply understand everything I'm going through, that can feel me, that doesn't have to invalidate my feelings, that doesn't tell me things like, oh, are you on your period? You seem really irritable. Someone who doesn't tell me things like, you know, it's just it's just a small deal. Why are you being so dramatic? Why are you nagging me? You know, those are the moments where you break emotional intimacy, where you tell someone, why are you so angry? This is not something to make you angry. When you question someone's emotions, which are mostly something they can't control, the emotion you can't control, the reaction that you have you can, but the emotion itself can't be controlled. If there's anger, there's anger. So emotional intimacy is about being able to hold that, being able to see someone with their anger, with their pain, with whatever, and be okay with it. Be okay. Physical intimacy is very clear. It's sexuality, everything that goes with sexuality, which is sensuality, love, touch, cuddles, kissing, all of it, right? And it's also the simple stuff, the small stuff, the acts of service, the massages, you know, the little things that we can do physically to help someone, to show them we love them. And then there's the energetic intimacy. And this one was really interesting for me. The energetic intimacy is where you find awareness, you find that stillness in someone. When they're interacting with you, they can speak and they can listen. They don't have to keep cutting you off, they don't have to keep making their point. They're not always defensive. They're present with you in an equal interaction. They don't have to lecture you and be above you. And at the same time, they don't have to be below you, always asking you for something, always begging, always being needy. And then there's 3 levels to intimacy, which is the level of the self, which is the most important. It's the foundation. It's where we create intimacy with ourselves, which means if I am intimate with the parts of me that are dark, with the fantasy of having someone tie me up, the fantasy of having someone, I don't know, take me away, sweep me off my feet, you know, the fantasy of whatever dark fantasies you might have. There's a lot of BDSM fantasies, there's a lot of fantasies around the depth of how deeply you want to connect with someone, the intensity of a connection, all of that. the fantasy that puts you in a state of vulnerability, that intimacy with yourself, with all those parts of you that want all of the darkness in the world. That's where it starts. And then there's the other. The other may be the other person, or it may be a small group of people, like your family, your close friends. And then there's the intimacy with the world, which is how close can you be to community? How close can you be to God, to your nationality, to the larger groups that you belong to, the bigger company that you're part of? Whatever that is, how close can you be to the larger self? So when we look at intimacy like this, then we start to discover that I don't need to be in a relationship with someone to discover intimacy. I can be right here and discover it by myself. And that's what I had to do too. For me personally, I got into relationships. I tried every type of relationship I could think of, but none of them changed anything. Because I had to start with myself, because that is the foundation. So, the last relationship that I was in before I started this work, it sent me in down a complete rabbit hole. I was just completely messed up. I was like, why am I here? What is happening? He's cheated on me 3 times and I'm still here. For some reason, I still want his love. For some reason, I can't accept my own. I can't be okay by myself. What is happening to me? And when I was in this state, I thought, like, this is so pathetic. I need to go. So I left everything. I fortunately was in a place where I could leave everything. I left everything and I went to the mountains and I stayed there. And then the lockdown started. So I just ended up staying there. And the whole year I was by myself in the mountains, no internet, no electricity, barely any access to any resources. And I just stayed with myself, became intimate, very intimate with myself, which was a physical act. It was self pleasure physically, but it was more than that. There was the emotional act of getting in touch with all those dark, disgusting emotions that I never wanted to touch before. It was the act of awareness, spiritual and energetic intimacy with myself, which was just being with myself. Like if I'm crying, I'm okay. I'm crying. I'm here with myself. And it's okay to cry. If I'm angry, I can be angry at the pillow. Take all of my anger out on the pillow and be okay with the fact that I'm angry at the pillow. And when I started to build that, I got out of this, I got into a relationship, and I actually found someone who was able to hold a lot of that. And before that, the partner I was with couldn't hold any of that. He couldn't even stay loyal. He was cheating on me in the first month. So it was this process that I went through with myself of creating intimacy with myself that took me to a place where I could create that with someone else. And am I saying that I was perfect? It wasn't. I'm 25. I'm supposed to make mistakes in this stage of my life. It wasn't the most perfect relationship. There's always more growth to do, and there's always more work to do. And we're not together now. But when we were together, we had a much deeper relationship than I ever had before. And for me, that's enough. For me, that's okay. If the relationship has lived itself out and it has brought me to the person I need to be, that's enough. And the reason it's enough is because this is what they said in the Vedas. So, who knows the story of Shiv and Parvati? What happened between Shiv and Parvati? How did Parvati actually become partners with Shiv? Could you tell me in the chat? Or you could unmute and tell me.
Well, they say that she did a lot of tapasya and increased her energy so much that she could be at that level of Shiva. I mean, kind of embodying that energy itself rather than trying to chase Shiva.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. She did a lot of tapasya, right? And the way she did it, so a little bit of backstory there is that before Parvati was Parvati, she was Sati. Does everyone know this? So when she was, this is one version of the story. There are many versions, but this is the version that I want to tell today because it illustrates my point. She prayed and did tapasya and she worshipped Lingya. And um, so what she did when she was Sati is that she had fallen in love with Shiva, but her father, Daksh Prajapati, used to give all of his children to the gods as wives, but never Shiva. He never wanted to give any of his children to Shiva because Shiva was the outcast, disgusting guy who's like standing somewhere in a crematorium or something, smoking. I don't know what he's doing. He's not a god, right? So for Daksh Prajapati, Shiva was some alien, and he never had any interest in Shiva. So Sati kept begging and begging and begging, and she begged Shiva, like, please, please, please ask for my hand in marriage. Go ask Daksh Prajapati. Shiva said, no, his ego is too big. He's not going to go ask for her hand. Same thing with her father. Please, please, please give me to Shiva. Please, please, please. Not listening. I don't care. Your problem. Okay. And at some point, this back and forth, pleading, 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 it became too much. And she had this dramatic show, I'm going to go burn myself in the fire. And when she burned herself in the fire, um, the that's when both of the men realized their mistake. So that's when Shiva said, damn, I've lost something I really loved and I wanted because of my ego. And so he picked up her body and he walked up Kailash. And as he walked, different parts of her body fell across the country, and those are the 64 Shakti Peeths that we have now. But in his process of walking up, he said, okay, I'm going to quit everything. I'm going to give up my duties. I'm not going to be a destroyer anymore. I'm not going to do anything that I'm supposed to do. Okay? I'm just going to leave everything. I don't deserve to do anything. I don't deserve to serve this world. And he went up and he started meditating. And this meditation was long. Long. He didn't want to leave. And the gods, after a while, were like, what do we do? Because Brahma can't create if Shiva doesn't destroy. Vishnu can't maintain if Brahma can't create. So the whole cycle stopped because Shiva left his job. So the gods went to Shakti and they asked her, please, please, please bring Sati back. She said, I can't bring Sati back, but I can bring her in a different form. So she brought Parvati. And when Parvati was born, she was born in that same state, in that state of pleading and begging and wanting something to happen, trying to get someone else to change. Have you ever been in that state where you become the nagging wife without even being the wife? You're nagging someone, you're telling, please change, please do this, okay, you have to go to the doctor, you have to go to the doctor, you have to fix yourself, you have to eat right, you have to go to the gym, but we're going and telling everyone else, you do this, you fix this. That state. Yeah, exactly. So that's the state she was in, and that's the state she was born in the next life also. So she went to Shiva, she tried to get him to wake up, and she even got Cupid to give him an arrow on his head, and he opened his third eye and burnt Cupid. That's why we don't hear about the Indian Cupid, Kamdev. So he was refusing to wake up. He didn't even recognize that this is Sati, that this is the same person. And so finally she gave up and she said, okay, leave it, I'm going to go do my own tapasya. Let him be, let him do whatever he's doing. She went, she started her own tapasya, and over those years in that tapasya, she had to sacrifice many things. She had to sacrifice her royalty, she had to sacrifice her name, her wealth, even her ability to speak. She completely went numb and mum. She went silent. And through all of these sacrifices and her tapasya, she became Gauri. And Gauri was not physical. Gauri was not her being physically fair. She was a daughter of the mountain. She was not physically fair. But she became fair in the spiritual realm. She became really bright. Her light started to shine. And that's the same process that we go through every month. Our egg comes out of the ovaries, and it's this beautiful magnetizing light, right? It's this space of life that can be created every single month. And when we're looking at men, what we're actually looking at is all of the sperm cells that have a chance at life because of that egg. And it's the same thing with Parvati and Shiva. She became so bright, she became that egg. She had come out of the ovaries and into the uterus, and she was ready. And that's when Shiva was magnetized towards her. That's when he himself came to her. He saw her in the spiritual realm, so bright. And he was like, how can a woman be so bright? And then he came to her with his patriarchal ideas. Okay? And he came to her and he went near her and he started to make the sound of a baby crying. And he said, she should not wake up from her tapasya, even if a baby is crying. And he thought that would be her biggest weakness, that she has emotions, she's a woman, she will obviously want to help someone and she will break her tapasya for that. And she did. She got up from her tapasya. She was willing to sacrifice all the years and all the boons that she would have got, because you break tapasya even once and you have to start from the beginning. So she was willing to sacrifice all of that to get up and take care of that baby. And when he said, you failed my test, haha, she said, I don't care. If you're not going to get up for the baby, someone has to. And my strength is in knowing that I will get up for that baby. My strength is in knowing that I am willing to sacrifice all of that for the present, for the here and now, for that baby. No matter how small and insignificant it looks to you, I don't care. And that's when she became an equal to him. That's when she became an equal. And that process of equalizing was not just hers. It wasn't that he's at this level, I have to rise. No, it was both of them. He was also in his ego. He was also in his place. I've rescinded all duties. I'm going to live in this mountain alone, isolated. That is not mature. So neither of them could be mature alone, and both of them became mature together. And when they united in this way, they became the shivling that we worship. So when we worship the shivling, you know, right? We're also worshipping her yoni. Her yoni is underneath, and the ling is on top. And this, when we're worshipping that, we're speaking of worshipping union. We're speaking of worshipping the inner union between the one who wants all the boundaries and the one who doesn't want any boundaries, the one who wants to merge. You know, the one who is masculine, the one who is feminine, the father, the mother, the internal sense of consciousness and the sense of feeling, the body. I and my body. We're merging these two. And we're worshipping the merging of these two. So, if you've heard, how many of you have heard this? Only men want sex and women don't want it.
A lot of times.
Yeah.
From a lot of people, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, I've heard that men only want sex, nothing else.
Yeah. And that's true of many women and many men, right? It's true of many people. Why? Because they're in that zone. Either they're in the hyper feminine zone of constantly trying to please someone else, constantly being in the body. I just need the pleasure. I just need to prove myself to someone. I need to perform at a certain level for someone. I need to have a certain number of orgasms. I need to be a certain size. I need to be, I need to impress someone in some way. This is a stage. It's not really a bed. I need to nag. I need to make something happen. I'm in that extreme sati state. Or I'm totally disconnected. I want nothing. I have no desires. I have no pleasure. I don't even feel anything down there. I don't want anything. I'm happy by myself. It's just me and my work. Has each and every one of you been in that state at some point? Like both? After a breakup, you feel, I just want to leave. I'm going to leave all relationships. Fuck love. Love is shit. Love is useless. I'm better alone. And then the opposite.
I just want to ask you a question. I don't think it is the right time now.
Sorry?
But I don't know if it is the right moment now, but I just want to ask you, why Um, I now since you have been very open about yourself, I want to tell you that even this has happened to me when I was very small. Uh, so I had a cousin brother, and then it was not. I just have some bad memories. It was for a very short period of time, but the very first time was of bad memories.
Mm.
And throughout the years, then I have never had a physical relationship with boys. Okay, but just now, about 3 years back, I have this colleague who I started going out with. But each and we have had, I have had feelings for we've been very close to each other. At the moment we try to get physical, I become like a stone. I become stone cold. So that's when I started doing a lot of counseling, and I childhood trauma, and I worked on it, and I'm much better now, but I'm still stone cold. So the moment I get into a relationship with anyone, I start getting scared. I just
Mm.
become stone cold. So is there a way to solve this?
I hear you. I hear you, my love. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. We're
Will it
holding
be
that for
solved?
you. Sorry?
Will it be solved? Will I stop this?
Absolutely. And this is a beautiful opportunity, right? All of those places where we are most damaged and most hurt by the events that have happened in our lives are all the spaces where we can make the most growth, and we can even go above and beyond most people in those spaces. So just going through this has given you access to 10 times more pleasure, and that's now your choice. Do you take that on? Do you really work on creating the pleasure for yourself just for the sake of reclaiming that pleasure, reclaiming that desire? Because that pleasure, it's not just pleasure, it's not just sex, it's not just what's happening in the bedroom, but the access and the connection with that is what creates your compass in the rest of life, right? Because how does something move? Either you attach something to the front, right, like a horse and a carriage. You attach something to the front and you make it move, or you attach something to the back and you push it, right? So what's attached to our back? Fear, right? Fear makes us move. Fear pushes us forward. We run away from the fear. We're afraid that we'll be poor someday, so we push ourselves to work really hard so that we never have to be poor someday. And then there's desire from the front, the horse and the carriages, right? That's what's guiding us from the front. So when there's no fear, like now I'm at a point where I will have food and, water and clothes. I will have my basic needs. I will never be so poor that I'm on the street. So now what? Now I don't need to run anymore. Now I don't need to go forward anymore. How will I go forward beyond this point if I don't have fear? The only way I'll go forward is if I have some desire, if I have something to take me forward, right? So, doing this and this journey, it's going to be very deep, very confrontational, more confrontational than counseling, because it's going to push you to find your desire again. Because your desire is that compass, it's that horse that is taking you forward, it's dragging you with it, and it has its own energy. It doesn't get energy from the back. The horse has its own energy and it is taking you. So when you're connecting with your fear, with your desire again, you will first get in touch with fear. That will happen. But once you get past that and you start to be okay with feeling that desire in your body, then the experience of being stone cold is not possible. It can't happen. But it's the work of the body. I can tell you as much as I want to tell you, but it's not going to change anything in your body because it has to be in the body. Why does it have to be in the body? Because we can talk about sex all we want. It's not the same as having sex, right? And that's this whole thing. We can talk about things. We can be in that Shiva state and say, I'm on top of the mountain. I can tell you everything about love and relationships and sex. But ultimately, when I actually have to meet Parvati, I have to let go of my ego. I have to let go of everything I thought I knew. sacrifice all of that and be okay with the new, with the present, with what's going to happen right now, which is completely different from whatever I planned. So that's somatic work. That's what I would recommend. But we can talk more after.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, my love. So, if you've heard this, only men want sex, women don't want sex, what they're speaking of is these specific women and men that are being talked about are in those polarities, are in those extremes, right? They're either in Sati or in Shiva mode. And in today's times, it's become totally reversed. In today's times, it tends to be we are supposed to be feminine, but we go into Shiva mode. And they are supposed to be masculine, but they go into Sati mode. They are always looking for sex and trying to get it from us. They become the nagging, right? And we are, oh no, I have so many boundaries. I have these walls up. Nobody can get close to me. Castle of stone. Yeah. And this is not functional. Even if it was the reverse, even if men were going into Shiva mode and we were going to Sati mode, it's not functional. Either way, it's not functional. You must have heard of these characters. The nagging wife who's always people pleasing, no boundaries, no sense of her own power, resentful after giving too much because she's given, and now she's like, when is it coming back? Have you been there? When is it coming back to me? I keep giving. And at some point, I come to a point where I'm so resentful, I just want him to change. I just keep pushing him to change. Now I'm telling him, I've done so much for you. Why are you not changing for me? Yeah? So that becomes manipulation. That's one archetype. Yeah? When there's a woman who's in hyper feminine Sati mode. That's one archetype. Then we have the woman who's in masculine mode, Shiva mode, who's the prude, right? She's like, no, I'm unavailable. I don't want you to talk to me so much. I have to go to work tomorrow. So I'm going to go sleep. Okay? Your feelings, I understand you must be feeling really bad. I'll give you a little bit of a pat on your back and then I'm going. I'm unavailable emotionally, sexually. Someone kisses me and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm happy with that much. Bye. Thank you. Right? No pleasure, no joy, no, like, where do I play? Where do I dance? I have to get super drunk out of my mind in order to dance. Otherwise, I'm not going to dance. That's the prude. Yeah. And every day she gets colder and colder. Do you know someone like this? Or have you been in this state? I'm Shiva and a little too much. Someone looks at me, I'm like, please go the other way, creep. Thank you for sharing that, Niharika. Yeah, we've all been in that state at some point, yeah? And that's what this is. If you recognize these archetypes, then you know what to stay away from. You know when you're going into an extreme. And when you're in an extreme, you can't be in integrity. Because integrity means togetherness. It's not being spread wide, it's together. My aura is clean around me, it's not spread far and wide. The creep, thank you for bringing that up, Niharika, is the guy who is in hyper feminine mode, right? The guy who's in Sati mode. So that's the hypersexual. I want to gain approval from sex. Oh, I will, after I have sex with you, I'm going to go tell all my 300 boyfriends about it, and they're gonna like, charge me up, and they're going to tell me how great I am for having sex with some girl. Yeah. I'm not self-assured at all. Can't say no, and I'll become whatever you need me to be for sex. So if you need me to, act nice and pay for the date, I'll do that because sex. You need me to be interested in spirituality, I'll do that because sex. Yeah, he's going to fake it. He's the chameleon who will do anything, become anything for the sex. And he gets very resentful when he's rejected because he does so much. He does so much for everyone. So how can he be rejected, right? You can't not have sex with this guy. And you'll also feel that. You'll also feel now he's paid for the date. He's done so much. He's like been here. He's been coming for dates 5, 6 times. He does so much for me. He took care of me. He helped me move from this house to another house. Now it's time for sex. It's my duty to now have sex with him because he's done so much for me. And this is a game that we play. And then he gets really mad if he's rejected. Yeah, this is the guy who, once you reject him, he turns completely. Now he earlier he was picking up your boxes, he was opening the door for you. Now he'll slam the door in your face because he hates you, because he can't handle the rejection. And then there's the possessive husband, who's the man in Shiva mode, where he becomes isolated, unavailable, disconnected, not interested in any women, not interested in his partner, and always, if there is any emotion that comes out, it's anger. That's it. It's just these angry outbursts, these aggressive outbursts. You push him to speak, and then when he speaks, it's angry words that come out. It's like, stop it, stop annoying me, right? And this is typical. The nagging wife will attract the possessive husband. The prude will attract the creep. The prude who doesn't want to have any sex at all will attract the creep who just wants sex all the time, right? And the nagging wife who's like always trying to change some guy will attract the possessive husband who's always going to be isolated, alone, unavailable, distant from everyone. There's 20 feet of space between him and everyone else. So if you live in any of these extremes, you attract your counterpart. That was the point of me telling you this whole story. Yeah? With Shiv and Parvati, it wasn't easy because Shiv was already God status. Yeah? So he was not, it's in that state of Sati, where she was only this person, this nagging, trying to get someone to change. When she was in that state, she attracted a Shiva who was in the opposite state. I have too much ego. I'm not going to ask for your hand in marriage. When she changed, he changed. And that's really the power that our ancestors have talked about for centuries. So when you look at Egypt, you have the Isis tradition. When you look at China, you have the Taoist tradition. In India, you have the Tantric tradition. In Native America, you have their own tradition. Every single one of these cultures has created their own idea, but it's the same concept that the woman has to rise, get in touch with her full power, her full sensuality. And when she does that, then she magnetizes the man. And he automatically changes for her. She no longer has to nag him because she's living by example. Is this making sense to anyone? Give me like some response. Like what are you feeling right now? How is this landing for you?
Making a lot of sense, but highly technical. Can you please also repeat it once? It's amazing knowledge.
Mm-hmm. What would you like me to repeat?
The last part which you just said about how did Sati change, which helped Shiva to change?
So Sati decided to do her own meditation, which means she completely detached from him. She said, I don't care about him. I'm going to go do my own tapasya. I'm going to discover my own power. I'm going to discover my own light. And she followed her desire. So that was the main thing. Why is this related to sexuality? Because your sexuality is it's your physical compass. It's your desire. It's showing you, where do I want to go? We are women, right? Why do we have to do the work? Because we are the egg. We have the egg. We have the scarce resource. They have the available resource. So if you look at it economically, which I hate doing, but I'm just going to do it for the sake of the example, we are the scarce resource in the sense we are the food, the water, the thing that people need. And then they have plenty of sperm, right? There's sperm everywhere all the time. They will regenerate the sperm in like 20 minutes. So if they're gonna, that's available. So we have to choose. We are the magnet. If we are magnetizing people, if we are magnetizing things, then we choose which magnets we want to keep and which ones we want to leave.
When you said, I had just wanted a clarification. When you said we attract our counterpart, did you mean our someone who's opposite? Because it's
Yeah,
is it opposing or is it complementing? I'm not understanding.
it's always opposite. And the opposite is what complements you. So if you are in that nagging wife place, right, where you always want someone else to change, then you'll find the possessive husband who's always by himself, isolated, alone. Yeah, he's got his own space around him. He's not going to change for you. Why? Because you are attached to being the nagging wife. You are attached to trying to get someone to change. So if you have to keep trying, you have to be with someone who's not willing to change, right? You can't be with someone who's willing to change, because if they were willing to change, then you would no longer have that identity of trying to get someone to change. Does that make sense, Niharika?
Yes, yes, very
It
much.
does to some extent, but I'm still lost as to what is it that I, for example, should be, or we as women, um, do we just identify what we are, or should we just? I mean, I'm a little lost of what's the takeaway.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Okay, okay.
Anything else?
Then, yeah, one question, Darsha. So, uh, in the last part, right, like when we say Sati went on her own exploration on her own tapasya, so what uh, what did she become, and in what way did she attract? Like you were saying, you attract the opposite. So how do we relate that point to this version of Sati when she was exploring herself and she attracted her opposite? So I'm just trying to connect that.
Yeah. So when she was in Sati mode, she attracted Shiva, who was in ego mode, right? He was fully ego. I don't want to ask for your hand in marriage, even if I love you. My love for you is less important than my ego. That's what he's saying, right? That I don't want to show myself as like anything less than in front of your father who hates me. That's more important than the love that I have for you. For her also, what was for her, she was giving way more importance to everyone else. She was like, oh, please give him to me, you know, and all of that. And she's begging everyone else. She doesn't realize she has the power to just walk out and marry the person she wants to marry. It's her body, it's her choice. If she was going to die anyway, and she was going to let go of her connection with her family and everyone anyway, she could have just done that while actually going to Shiva and doing what she wanted. But she preferred the drama and the spectacle and everyone else feeling bad over her own desire. And then later, when she changed, when she transformed into the magnetic egg, right, the Gauri, that time when she changed and she could stand in her power and say, I'm not ashamed that I failed your test, because you are not even worthy of testing me. You're a completely different person. You're a different species. You are a model for a different person. You are not my model. I have my own role model within me, and my role model has told me this is the right thing to do. And when she was able to stand in that power, then he could accept her as an equal. Then it was no longer him coming down and getting, like giving his love to someone who doesn't deserve it, which is the state he was in earlier. Earlier, she was begging for his love, and he was like, yeah, you should be begging for my love, right? Because that's how we are. If we occupy, if there's so much space between us, right, and this much is occupied by me, you will feel the urge to occupy the rest, right? That's how we are. We mirror each other. We unconsciously mirror. We look for what does the other person really want, and then I'm going to try and give them that. And when we sense that that person doesn't really want anything from me, they are fully whole within themselves, then we can get magnetized to them like magic. Why? Because we want some of that too. We want to feel what it's like to be completely whole by ourselves. We want to feel what it's like to not have to be dependent on someone else. Men want to feel what it's like to not be dependent on sex, to be able to feel pleasure and attraction and love for someone without it being a performance for them. That is the greatest thing that I've discovered in my time working with these men. I've worked with men who are in marriages, out of marriages. I've worked with men who are cheating on their wives, who are not cheating on their wives. I've worked with all kinds of men. And in this process, I've discovered that every single one, including the guy who looks like the creep and who only wants sex, is also just looking for intimacy, like deep intimacy. And the way you know that is that they get some kind of approval through that sex. And that approval is the emotional intimacy that they get with themselves. Too technical. But the main point is that it's. I had this client, okay? And probably one of the best. Like, when I met him, it healed a lot of my masculinity wounds. Because he came to me and he said that, and he's the first person saying this to me. Everyone thinks that I'm an intimacy coach, so I'm going to get into bed and actually teach them how to have sex. Okay? This is what men think. Um, so, um, so most of them approach me this way, and then I have to have a whole conversation with them and tell them, like, no, this is not how life works. Yeah, and it's a whole education thing. But with this guy, he came to me with the opposite. He was like, I really need this. I need help because my wife is, she's got bipolar disorder and she's gone through a lot of trauma in her childhood. And I personally feel responsible to do as much as I can to help her. I feel like I need to be there for her. I need to learn the skills I need to learn to be there for her. And that's why he came to me. And he said to me, no matter what we do, promise me it's not going to get sexual. Promise me that there isn't going to be anything that goes beyond the professional boundaries. This is the first man who's ever said this to me. Every other man is coming to me saying, please go beyond professional boundaries. Please have sex with me. You know, they're all, it's a strange world. But this guy is saying the opposite. And when I actually worked with him, at the end of that, we did a 1-day retreat. And at the end of that, he thanked me because he was so worried that something might happen between us. And he didn't want to cheat on his wife. And he said he would personally feel responsible, lack of integrity. He would feel so guilty if that happened. And the whole reason he was here was only so that he could learn how to take care of her. And he was willing to invest 30,000 in 1 day to learn how to take care of her. So when I met men like this, that's when I discovered that really, if you can stand in your full vulnerable power like that woman that he is married to, she's fully vulnerable, she's totally open with him. He knows she's going through all of this shit. He knows it's from her childhood. She's doing the therapy, she's doing whatever she can from her side, but she's fully vulnerable about it. And she's made it clear to him why she can't have sex, why it's not comfortable for her. She's working on that. And when she is that person, he feels the duty, the responsibility to rise and become that person for her too. Because he shared with me that in past relationships, he was not like this. It was just for this person. So that's what I mean when I say that when that Parvati comes out, then when that Parvati comes out, then the Shiva comes too. She transforms the man into Shiva without even trying. How does an intimacy coach help with spouse's bipolar disorder? I don't help with her disorder. I help him to come to a place of emotional understanding and intimacy with himself so he can hold space for her. Because he needs to be holding space for her a lot of the time when she's in this space, when she's in this condition, in this state. So he needed to learn the skills of intimacy, emotional intimacy, to be able to hold space for her. If this
I wanted
approval,
to ask one question, Danishta, sorry to interrupt.
just a second, yeah.
Yeah, okay, sure.
If this approval seeking behavior, we could see in few normal scenarios like dates planned, trip planned, is an indication of feminine men. So yeah, it's not really feminine men, it's more like sati man. So you can have a feminine man who doesn't do this, right? So I just keep the terminology
What's
slightly.
the difference, if you can explain
A feminine
between
man,
that?
a feminine man is just a man who's more emotional, who may look more feminine, who has certain body traits and all of that, and that doesn't have to necessarily have to do with sati or shiva. Those two states, those two states are a different thing. Those two states are internal states that all of us can go into. I'm a woman, but I've been in a shiva state, right? I'm a woman, but I've been in a sati state. It's the same thing. It's the sati state. It's that state of hyper femininity. Like that's the only thing I can do. And then the shiva state is hyper masculinity. That's the only thing only thing I can do is be detached from people. So dates planned, trips planned, yeah, these are all the spaces where you'd see it, right? So you'd see it in, like, the date is being planned. I don't know where I want to do it. Where do you want to do it? No, where do you want to go? Well, what do you want to eat? What do you want? That's the sati state. Everything, what do you want? You know?
Yeah,
And
and
then
even seeking for how did you feel very immediately after date itself, asking it multiple times. So, I mean, the approval, okay, what I planned was good. I mean, I have faced that. That's why I'm asking this question multiple times.
approval, I didn't understand what you said at the end there.
No, I mean, like, if he's planning also some of the time, that time, then post plan and date and trips are all done, then most of the times he'll seek for the feedback, and that way, not a subtle way or just to know. It's like it feels like a nagging. Okay, tell me how it was. Oh, how did you like this, that, everything.
Yeah.
And it is not a normal. I mean, you could sense the energy, right?
Yeah.
Like it's nagging multiple times, asking, oh, how was this? How was this? How was this? Every little thing.
Yeah.
Felt something different. Yeah, and I guess your theory could explain it now.
Yeah. And that's something we are primarily very not attracted to, right? So there's one
Very
element of this that is the masculine and the feminine within us, and we want to find integrity, and we want to find that place where we can have boundaries but also vulnerability, right? That's what we've talked about so far. But then there's also the external world, the other person, and when we come into contact with another person, with a potential partner, then we're getting into a space where now I may be fully in integrity in every space of my life, right? I have full touch with my masculine and my feminine in my work, in my friendships, in my family, everywhere else. But in my relationship, I want to be allowed to be more in my feminine. And that's my personal choice. It doesn't have to be everyone's. But in my relationship, I want to be in a space where I can just rest in my body and be completely in touch and completely with my body. And my body is polarized. My body is feminine, right? It is a woman's body. So I want to, in my relationship only, be okay with being more in my feminine and less in my masculine. Which means what? Here it means, yes, I have the boundaries and the safety and everything else masculine that I take care of. I make sure that I'm spending time with the right person, that I'm not giving my energy to the wrong person or whatever. I keep those boundaries, and then I can rest. And what does resting mean? Resting means being able to just be myself, not thinking, is this the right person to speak to? Is this the right way to express myself? Am I crying beautifully? No, I'm just crying. Let me just cry. You know, am I looking good enough? Is my belly stuck sucked in? You know, am I conscious constantly of myself? I don't want to be in that state. I want to relax. I want to be okay. I want to just be in flow. Whatever's coming to me, I want to do that, you know. So in my relationship, I personally would choose to be more in my feminine. Let's say 70% of the time, I want to be in my feminine in my relationship. And I want the man to be in his masculine, which means what? He can contain me. This is where the Kali and Shiva comes in. What happened with Kali? She was running chaotically, right? She had totally been overtaken by the demon she had killed because she had drunk all of his blood. And then Shiva just laid down, right? He just laid down on the floor. She stepped on him, and just by stepping on him, she realized who she really was. So it's this process of allowing myself to be chaotic, allowing myself to be all over the place, and letting the man be a container, letting the man be completely non judgmental and just lie there, just be there, just be, just remind me of who I really am without trying to push and tell me to change and tell me to get help and, you know, nag. He didn't do any of that. He didn't say, "Oh, stop it, Kali, you're running too fast. I'm going to judge you. You look so ugly while running." Nothing. He just laid there. And that's when we meet our partner. That's when, once we've gotten past that stage where we have to create integrity within ourselves, we can now meet, when we have that integrity, we can now meet a partner and we can rest in our feminine and let them be in their masculine, which means letting them take the lead. Take the lead in what sense? Being able to hold all of you, being a container for all of you, which means I have the ability to hold the pain that you feel, the desires you feel, the shame that you felt, the trauma that you've gone through. I have the ability to hold all of that. I'm not just holding you. I'm not just telling you, this is, I'm going to restrict you in this way. Now you are tied to me. Now you have to behave in this way because I've told you to, because you represent me in some way. And, you know, like the girl of the house is the one who all of the respect of the house lies on. It's not like that. It's not a limiting container. It's an open container that has the capacity to hold all of the chaos within us. And when we find that, firstly, before we find that, we have to become that for ourselves. We have to learn that skill for ourselves to be able to contain ourselves. Because if we don't accept something about ourselves, how are they going to accept that about us? We contain that for ourselves, and then we meet someone in the world who also has that capacity to contain that. So for in my life, that looked like I didn't have the ability earlier to contain my trauma. My trauma was something that had control over me. It would tell me what to do, and I would do whatever it said. So it wanted me to be fully in sati mode, always just desperate for people's attention and wanting some guy to love me. And for a long time in my life, that was one specific man. And I was controlled by that. But when I integrated that, when I contained that for myself, then I met someone who could also contain that with me.
I had one question, Mom.
Just a second. I'm just gonna look at these questions that we have from Sumedha Kamble.
Yeah, it's me, Sumedha.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Dhanishta. I just wanted to ask you a thing. Just before your session, I got this news from my brother actually. My dad just got retired last 2 months ago, and Achanak, since 1 month, he is getting messages from his ex girlfriend, which is used to be in college time.
Mm.
They are just talking normally, but still, I don't know. She's calling my dad on random days, and my dad is talking to her, and this got to know to my mom. And then he's just trying to hide the calls, and he's just deleting the number. Just, I don't know. There is nothing bad in talking, but it was his ex-girlfriend when he was in college, and now he's 60-year-old. I
Hmm.
don't know, like the thing is not getting good at my family. Like mom is getting worried. Dad is saying it's nothing like that, and she's asking money to my dad. Like she's widow, and of course my dad have my mom,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not able to handle the thing. My mom is not openly telling me anything.
Who are you
Just
here?
and just like 2 days ago, she messaged my dad. He let's meet on Saturday.
Who are you here? Where did you go?
I'm daughter. I'm his daughter.
I don't see you anymore. Hmm.
Can you now?
Uh, okay,
Hello.
I can't see
Yeah.
you, but I just want to know. Okay, I see you. Who
Yeah.
are you here?
Yeah.
Who are you in all of these
I'm his
characters,
daughter.
all
I'm
these
his
characters,
daughter.
all these archetypes that we've talked about so far? Who are you?
Uh, like I didn't understand what are you saying. I am
You,
means?
so what you're saying is that they have a relationship, your
Yeah, very
parents have a
early thing.
relationship,
Yeah.
your parents have a relationship, there's someone else who's being involved in that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but none of this has been brought to you consciously.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
brother messaged me today कि I want to share to you something. I'm a doctor actually. I just came from a surgery, and he
Okay.
was messaging me and he said, please don't talk to dad about it because he don't know. And mom don't like she's talking to my dad. He's saying it's nothing like that, but somewhere or the other, this is not good thing because she's widow and she's just trying to manipulate my dad and just talking in the sense which is not good. ऐसे मैं sense कर पा रही हूँ.
Yeah.
I don't know. ऐसा कुछ हुआ नहीं है. It's just a month. They're not talking on regular basis, but still I am just scared कि आगे कुछ ऐसा ना हो.
Yeah.
And
And that's,
yeah,
I hear you. And you, if you feel like you're talking to him after this session, you can always share a story like what I just shared with you, the story of, Shiv, Parvati, where they are in their lives, how that might be impacting them.
yeah,
But beyond that, it's not your circus and it's not your monkey,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So I'm not
you can't
understanding.
you can't change someone. That's the whole point of what I said about sati, is that you can't go to someone and tell them to change.
Yeah, but how do I will know कि yes, everything is not bad at that extent and they are just friends and they are meeting. ऐसा my dad is so simple. He has been administrative officer. He cleared UPSC and he has good standards यार. ऐसा नहीं है कि
Yeah,
he
so
belongs
trust
from
that.
good. But I don't know how that from where they got numbers exchanged from some old friend circle.
Trust that.
Yeah.
Trust that. Come from faith. But it's not something you can do. That's the point. Drawing your energy back. That's why I said that. Your aura needs to be you, you know? And there are always going to be people that you need to care about, that you need to give your energy to. But those people are their own people. And you can't be giving, you can't be telling, you can't be nagging, you can't be in a place where you are at a lower position than them. Because intimacy can't happen in hierarchy. Intimacy can only happen when there's equality. There's only sameness.
Dhanita, I have a question if I may ask.
Yeah. No, 1 second. I
So,
just want to look at what we have here. So, in the chat, do men also? Okay, so Medha's done. Aditi?
yeah, that's me.
Okay. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah. So, I have a question about men's psychology regarding sex. So, okay, I mean, it's not that easy to get into a place where you're dating someone and then you get sexually involved with someone. It's not something that you can do like with multiple people. It just happens like with once in like 6 months probably. So, like,
Okay.
similarly for me also, after like dating for like a month or so, we got involved physically, and this is just the third person in my life that I have intimate with, and it felt like for both
perfect, out of the roof kind of an intimacy.
Yeah.
But my psychology after getting involved with him physically was like I felt more protected. I felt more loved. I felt more caring towards him. But for him, I realized that he used to pull away. So he used to he acts really nicely after we have something for like a week, and then he suddenly starts pulling away unless we meet another time, and then another time we have like intimacy, and then after that he would again act nicely for a week, and then again he would pull away. So I'm not able to understand the psychology, because for me that is making the relationship more concrete by having that kind of an intimacy. But I don't know what's happening with him that he, suddenly pulls away.
Have you asked him?
Yeah, I have asked him. So he just says that he doesn't know. He's not understanding. He does not. He goes into his zone. But then while we are having physical intimacy, he's very expressive. He's very talkative. And post that, for a week also, again, he's very talkative. He shares a lot of things. But then after that, he's like, I need a little bit of my own space. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out. Like, figure out what. He's like, I'm waiting for my intuition to tell me. So I'm not able to understand those signs, that what is going on in a man's head after a good, a good intimacy. Because it's not easy to like keep on going to the next person and then be like, okay, now I'll check my physical intimacy. It might not be good, and then you go to the next, and then it might not be good. So it's, for me, it's like, okay, this is something I have found already that it's a great match. Then how do I fix it back? Because I can't be so easy to be with someone physically again after this.
I hear you.
It's gonna take a while. So that's why I wanted to understand, is this something that is a fixable thing? Or is it something related to sex? Or is it something not related to sex?
Yeah. Aditi, you're asking me the Sati question. Yeah? Do we hear that? Can we fix this? Can this be fixed? That's the Sati question. Right? That's what Sati asked. Can this be fixed? And then she went and she tried to get everyone to fix it. But it can't be fixed because it's not something to fix. What you have to do is be the Parvati that you need to be. To be okay with being by yourself, being magnetic. You be by yourself, you do your own tapasya, you become the Gauri that you are, and he will come if he has to come. And if he doesn't come, there's a million other people who would be willing to come because you are Gauri.
Okay. Okay, so for instance, however time it takes, and then okay, I decide that if I'm not getting clarity, then I move on and I meet the other people, and then I feel like it's all for all Indian women, and then we start dating people, and then how soon do we realize, okay, now let's have sex, and realize that what is our physical intimacy level?
Yeah.
So how much time should there be to understand this? Or are there ways to understand this without getting physically involved in the first place?
So what is your concept of being physically involved? What does that mean to you? What are you attaching to it?
Physical touch, hugs, kisses, anything beyond
so
that.
what do you lose if you become physically involved with someone?
I don't know. It in a way it does play with your psychology, that your body is not for everyone to be with.
Yeah, it's not for everyone, and everyone is not on it. 3 people, right? Like there's billions of people on this planet. 3 people you've been with, so everyone is anyway not valid.
So then okay, so for instance, if I start dating and then I meet people, then how soon or how much should I wait before understanding or exploring that aspect? Because the thing is, I feel women get attached more once they get physically involved. So then they kind of shift their energies in a very, they run after the person, or they become more sort of clingy, and then that pulls away the guy. That pushes them away.
Is this
So
you,
is there
Aditi,
like
or
some
are we talking about like theoretical women?
Sorry?
Are we talking about theoretical women, or is this you?
Yeah, I can say I'm also speaking from my own experience of my psychology.
basically, and my general understanding.
Okay. So, Aditi, is it okay if I ask you a personal question?
Yeah, so
What is your intimacy like with yourself?
what is my intimacy?
What is your intimacy like with yourself? What is your self pleasure ritual? How frequently do you engage in the ritual?
Maybe twice or thrice a week.
Okay. And how do you engage with yourself?
I mean, I have things that I use, or sometimes I don't use. Sometimes I imagine things. Sometimes I watch things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Tell you what? I mean, yeah. What else? That's the whole.
What is he giving you that you can't give to yourself? In pleasure.
I mean, there are things like body touches, kisses, caressing, holding. Those are not the kind of things you can do by yourself. Those are the kind of things you feel needed by someone, and that's when it happens with the other person.
Touches and kisses can't be given to yourself?
Touches, kisses, holding, wanting to be with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think those kind of things, they do give you a lot of. Uh, I mean, they play with your hormones, of course. They push your hormones, make you really happy and feel. That is another thing. But also, it gives you a sense of yes, I'm needed, I'm loved. So I don't think it can be replaced by self pleasure, not for me at least.
Yes, I'm needed and I'm loved. Hmm. And where else could you get that?
I'm not sure. Physically, physical intimacy, I don't think it is something I can get from anywhere else besides the partner.
I guess I'm wanted and I'm loved is something I experience through friendship, through community, through sisterhood. Yes, I'm wanted and I'm loved is something I experience through my work by having clients who needed me and who got good results after working with me. Yes, I'm wanted and I'm loved is something I gave to my family. I feel needed and wanted and loved by my family because I provide for them financially, emotionally.
Okay, then what about desires? How do you fulfill them without a partner? Again, those are not something which can just be fulfilled by a simple emotion of yes, so you are an
Yeah,
amazing
yeah,
friend, you are an amazing daughter. I don't think those can be fulfilled by.
agreed, agreed. So physical desire and physical intimacy, there's a lot of people out there, right? The question isn't really like if you see yourself as some kind of object, as like a prize to be won, even if it's a prize to be won, like the best kind of object. If you see yourself as an object, then your pleasure is never going to be at the center of what you do. Because you can't have pleasure if you're an object, right? You're an object, you don't have feelings. If you see yourself as an object of someone else's affection, that if I'm giving sex to them, it's me giving and them taking, then you can't have your own perspective, you can't have your own feelings. What you're saying to me right now is you're operating from two opposites. You're saying you want to be able to feel needed and loved, which is something that has nothing to do with sex. And then you're saying the only way you can get that is through sex or through physical pleasure.
I mean, it's an important part for human body experience, I feel.
Yeah. So you have the I'm wanted and I'm loved, and you can get that in so many different ways. Is that clear?
Okay.
And now the physical pleasure is pleasure. It's yours. So you choose. If you want to see yourself as an object who's going to be giving something to the other person, like I'm not for everyone. You're not for everyone anyway. Even if you have sex with a fourth and a fifth person, you still won't be for everyone. So you choose if you want to see yourself as a prize or an object, then you operate that way. And then it's not going to be about pleasure. Or you choose you want to be from pleasure. You want to live from pleasure and you want to live from in integrity with your pleasure. which means you're not controlled by the pleasure and you're not just having sex with anyone that walks around and gives you attention.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you are fully willing to let go of someone, and you're not taking sex as some kind of divine sign that you are meant to be with this person.
Okay. Okay, I understand that. But then from a men's psychology point of view, how do they feel when a woman is involved with them? Like if I am getting involved with a person, what is a man expecting or what is a man feeling
I can tell you what specific archetypes of men are feeling and thinking. I don't know what all of them are doing, because I don't like to see men as one category of everything. Whatever I say is all men. It's applicable to all men. You know.
Yeah,
So
true, that's correct.
if you are going to the creep, if you're going to have sex with the creep, then the creep is thinking, now I have her approval. Now I need to move on to the next one and get the next one's approval.
Okay.
If you're having sex with the prude, the possessive man, the Shiva state guy, then you've like kind of pushed him out of his comfort zone. You've made him have sex, and then he's going to recede again, and he's going to disappear, because he really had to be pushed out of his comfort zone to do this, which basically means he himself is not ready. And they will show you this. Most of the time, they will show you that they are not ready with these acts, with these things. And the biggest problem we create is thinking of sex as something we've given to them. And now, because we've given that to them, we deserve something in return. And that's exactly it, right? When I'm in sati mode, I'm always giving, giving, giving. And then I become resentful that they are not returning it to me. But what are they going to return? There's nothing to return. It's sex, it's just an act. It's like dancing together.
For this archetype of man.
Yeah. And then at some point, when you become ready to let go of all these people, regardless of how much shame it gives you in your mind to let go of them after you've had sex, when you become ready to do that, when you are okay to let go of someone who's not worthy of you, then you find what comes beyond that. Then you find a relationship that is not defined by, now we have to stay together because we had sex, which very easily translates, like, okay, fine, let's say he stays with you because you had sex, let's say he does everything you want him to do. This same thing translates later to, now we have to stay together because we're married, now we have to stay together because we've had kids, now we have to stay together because we've been together for 20 years. Yeah, I mean, it's okay to be in that type of relationship. Most of our parents are in that type of relationship, but but that's a choice. Then you see yourself as an object, you see yourself as a prize that is there to be won, and then you live that kind of life where you are, at some point you will be one, and you'll be the trophy that is sitting in the cupboard and staring at life, and life is happening all around you, but you are a trophy. You are cold, you don't have any feelings, you don't want any desires, you don't have pleasure, you don't have joy, you don't have anything of your own. It's all just about everyone else.
Okay, I think I understood. I think your concept of these archetypes is very interesting. If you could leave maybe the names of these archetypes in the chat, maybe if they are not share something, then I can Google more and search more and read more about it.
Yeah, no, these are kind of created by me, but I'll definitely give you some stuff to do. Yeah.
All right, yeah. Thank you so much for answering.
Thank you for speaking with me, Aditi. Um, did we have anything else in the chat? Okay, I'm going to take Niharika and Aishika, and if anyone else from the chat wanted to ask a question, you can put that.
I have
You
the
can
question
raise your
asked
hand.
told 3 times.
Yeah, tell me.
So this is Achal, and I think I am in that Shiva state because I've been with 4 men as of now, and they were all like they wanted to have sex, and I was like, no, I don't want, but I somehow did it. Um, but I never felt good about it. Okay, and 90% of my guy friends are like they have approached me not for sex, but they have they have told me that can you become my girlfriend, or I somehow sense that they just wanted to have sex and all these things. Okay, and this is my first question. So, how to change my energy? First thing, and second question is that when you have like I also don't like when I Aditi said that she is engaged in self pleasures 3-4 times a week, but I am a kind of person I I don't know, maybe 6 months once in 6 months or I don't know. I don't even know that, and I don't even feel like doing this. And second question is, it's completely different from the first question. That when you do that sexual activity, okay, and after that men just withdraw themselves and they like they want to see the reels or something like that, but I want that cuddling. But I haven't met any men, like I've been with 4 men, so I haven't met any man who likes to cuddle after the sex, but I just want to have that intimate moment. But they're like they want to like they want to see reels and they totally disconnect after that. I don't like that. I feel like that it's emotional, like they're disconnecting emotionally, and because of this, I don't feel doing it for the next time. So that was my 2 questions.
Okay. So just let me know if I'm veering off track because I'm not sure I followed the whole question that you asked. But what I'm hearing from what you said is it seems like you are in Shiva state, right? And you are, okay, I'm kind of disconnected. I don't really want to be with people and all of that. And then these men are coming and they are coming in as sati and they are tempting you and trying to get you involved, right? They're trying to shoot the Cupid's arrow at you. And maybe you aren't burning them. You are receiving that arrow and you are becoming, sorry, everything gets all messed up. Could you just keep your hand raised so that you're at the top of my screen?
Here I am. So let me just raise my hand.
Yeah. Yeah. So the sati is trying to tempt you. You're getting tempted, you know. And then when she sees, oh, he got tempted. It was so easy. Now I took what I wanted from him and now it's done. Now both of us can just be chill, separate. Yeah?
Yes, but I'm not that kind of person. They may think that I am, but I'm not that kind of person. I want emotional connection, but they think that I just wanted to have sex and everything happened.
Yeah. Yeah. And
everything is good.
This
Yes.
ties perfectly into what Tejali is asking. What tapasya would it be for us to be? How do we become Parvati with that tapasya in the modern era?
Yes, I wanted
right?
to ask that too.
That is this exactly. It's the process of being difficult, but being like choosing to be difficult. So what does difficult mean? Having the difficult conversation. This is what I want in sex. This is what I like. This is what I care about. And this is what I need more of. And before I've even had sex with you, maybe I've just kissed you and made out with you a little bit, and we're thinking of moving to the next stage, and we're doing that with so much consciousness because we have integrity. When we are in a polarity, when we are in Sati mode or in Shiva mode, we don't have full consciousness because we're too far away. We're spread out. But when I have integrity, when I have both of them together, then I have consciousness. So the last person that I've had sex with, before I had sex with him, I had a whole conversation with him. The RBDSM. Does anyone know what this is? Have you heard of this?
Yes.
Yeah. If you can put the full form of RBDSM in the comments, that would be nice. So I had a whole conversation with him where I made it clear this is the kind of relationship I want. These are my boundaries. This is my desire. This is my sexual health history. And this is the meaning that I make. No. I'm not talking about BDSM. I'm talking about RBDSM, which is the way that you create a conversation with someone that will have clarity. the level of clarity that you're looking for from a partner, whether that's a sexual partner or more than that. So I have this whole conversation with him. I made it clear to him, this is what I need. After this is what the relationship is going to be like. Okay, this is what I'm looking for in terms of a relationship. Right now I'm in a space where maybe I want a long-term relationship or maybe I don't. So I share that. Then I share, these are my boundaries. This is what's okay with me, this is what's not okay with me. Okay, even if I'm not in a relationship with you, even if we aren't fully dating and committed and all of that, even then I'm not okay with you having sex with other women right now. I have that conversation, I say that. And then I ask him his boundaries. Then I go to desire. Desire is the D. So we have relationship, boundaries, desire. If someone could just write this in the comments as I speak. Relationship, what kind of relationship is this? Boundaries, what are we, what do we, where are our boundaries personally for each other, for this relationship as well? What desires do we have? What do we really want to explore together? Why are we doing this? Even if you're hooking up with someone, why are you doing that? Sexual health, your history of sexual health, and the meaning, and then aftercare. Okay, meaning / aftercare. Meaning is basically, what am I thinking about this in my head? And aftercare is, how do I need to be cared for after this so that I feel like this is right? And then the next time, if some of those things were not met, I ask him, no, what was happening in your life that you didn't call me every second day? Because that was part of what I said I wanted in my aftercare. So when I have this conversation with someone, I have now pulled them up into Shiva mode because I've suddenly made them more conscious. All this time they were unconsciously, they wanted sex. I said, yes, even I want sex, but I'm going to force you to be conscious in this process. I'm not going to allow myself to just be used by you or feel like I'm just there and it's your desires that are taking the lead. Does that make sense, Anshul? So if I've had this conversation,
Yes.
this is the
Totally.
difficult conversation that I would have, and then I would have a difficult experience of actually being vulnerable with them. And then I see, and the reason I'm okay with doing this is because it's not just them. I am vulnerable with you guys right now. I am vulnerable with my friends. I'm vulnerable with my, teachers. I'm vulnerable with my students. I'm vulnerable in so many different contexts, that what we were talking about earlier with Aditi, that I feel needed and I feel wanted, is not dependent on that one person. Are we together?
Yes.
Does that answer your
Then
question?
yeah, as you answered, this is the follow-up thing. So how to differentiate or how to see that fine line between being difficult and being egoistic? And I mean, how to analyze ourselves? Like you said, we can go to that Parvati mode by being difficult to achieve, right? Or something like that.
Difficult,
So how
just
to
being able to be difficult. Like you are willing to do the difficult things. And this is not the heavy lifting. This is not like, this is not about him taking the lead. He has to take the lead in other spaces in life. But in all of these stories, everywhere, we always see that the woman is taking the lead when it comes to spiritual growth.
So how to differentiate
Anushka,
and
sorry.
analyze, like, am I becoming egoistic or am I becoming difficult to achieve?
Are you
Just to know that.
Tanisha, one big doubt here is: are you saying difficult, or you mean being difficult means hard to get kind of a stuff that the other person should chase? I mean, I just
No.
want to clarify.
I'm saying
I
being
don't think
difficult
that's what you
as
meant.
in, yeah. So I'll clarify. Sorry about the confusion. I mean being difficult, like being able to have the difficult conversations.
Conversations.
That
Not
they
like
will
to
they
get.
will not initiate this.
Okay.
They have nothing to gain from initiating it, and they don't have the emotional intelligence to initiate it. So in very rare cases, you'll find men who are very evolved sexually and spiritually and who can do that. But most of the time, the woman has to initiate this. And it's okay to initiate, to say that, yeah, I want to have sex, because that's already a good sign for him that you're willing to engage in it. And then when you engage with your full consciousness. So he knows you are not giving in to him. You are not just, seduced by him. You are not some kind of weak thing that is just there and he has all control. No, you're making it clear, these are the things I need, this is what I want, and this is how you can care for me. And if you don't meet these standards that I am clearly explicitly stating to you, because men don't have that level of emotional intelligence that we do, that allows them to mentally perceive what we need and see things from our perspective and be super empathetic. They don't have that, and they biologically shouldn't be having that. We have that because we have children, and because babies are incapable of communicating, we have the ability of communicating on their behalf. That's the reason we have that. They don't need to have that, and it's better if they don't have that, so that they can protect us and not start to feel empathy for the enemy that is attacking us. Okay.
Yes, I can totally relate, Dhanishta. And I'm always a shy person. I have never conveyed that I want this in sex or intimacy. I've never conveyed it. So I was always the victim that I'm having sex with them and easy, because I wanted them, that I want to grow in the relationship, and I want to have sex with them. But I often after that I was always like that. I'm the victim here. They have used me and all these things, but I've never conveyed what I want, what are my boundaries, and what I should do. So
Yeah.
that's all I open.
Yeah. And when you convey that, you make it clear that this is what I want, this is how I proceed in my relationships. Then the side of them that you bring out, you yourself will be surprised by. You yourself would say, and you'd be like, what, like, I didn't expect this guy to be like this person, you know. Even if it's, yeah, I've done this in many different relationships, long term relationships, short term relationships, friendships. I've done it in like so many different contexts, and every time it brings out something new that I never would have discovered without this kind of conversation. So I'm sorry, we have very little time. Actually, it's 10 o'clock already. Madhu, would you be mad at me if I continue for another 10 minutes?
Absolutely right. Go ahead, Dhanishta.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said, go ahead. Absolutely okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah. Anyone, like, the most burning question? You can unmute and ask.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Prerna,
Yeah, Prerna.
I've had my hello up since long. So sorry.
Sorry,
Ashika here.
who? Ashika? Yes, tell me.
So sorry. I've just been waiting.
No problem.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. So the thing is, I get all of your points, but for some of us, I don't want to use this term, but for some of us, we are from a time where sex is majorly considered a taboo, right? Like it's not something that was openly discussed, so it's not something you repeatedly go on having. I understand your point about not everyone having this thing on the body, but everyone literally here doesn't mean like every single one of them, but at least like multiple partners is not something that's encouraged, right? But then also we have our desires, and then there is also the time factor of actually finding the right man, and all of that. My question to what I'm coming is, sometimes there is this dilemma between, should I just, there is, because for women, the opportunity always presents themselves, right? Even if you don't want to sometimes. So between that and actually waiting for a man, who is ready to do it, and also like to Aditi's point, there are many men who will make you believe they for the long term, and then they do it, and all of those, they will make you feel a certain way, and all of the questions, yes, all of that, and then finally, after the deed is done, sort of a thing, they will kind of then pull back or whatever, right? And then you're left feeling, okay, I'm stupid, why did I even do this, right? So between this is all very murky for me. Like, satisfying my desires. Second is, what is the ideal time to wait to actually initiate the physical intimacy, and third is actually trusting the other person that after physical intimacy, this person will actually stick to their words of what they have actually said. So, what are your thoughts on this exactly?
So I hear you, Ashika, and we're all from this time, right? Like we were all raised in this country, and this country is still in this time where sex is not discussed openly and it is still a taboo. And there's two parts to this. So the first is that this is the heroine's journey. The hero's journey you must have heard of, right? Like he has to come out of his childhood, like Harry Potter, right? He has to grow up, he has to like discover his enemy, he has to overtake the enemy, he has to win, and then come back and be celebrated. That's the hero, right? He has to go from inside in his safe zone to outside, go into the danger, experience the danger, learn whatever he has to learn, get the treasure, and come, and then win the girl or whatever, right? The heroine's journey is very different.
Okay.
The heroine's journey is that she already is born with the power. She is born with the magnetism of that egg that we spoke of. She is born with the magnetism. Yeah. She's born with power. She's born with desire. She is already a temptress. She already has power just by her being herself. Right? Men, if you leave men by themselves, they will goof around and play sports. They won't really have deep community, deep connection, emotions, joy, pleasure.
True. Okay.
They won't have any of that. But you leave women by themselves, they will find the community, the joy, the pleasure, everything within them only. Why is that?
Men would also have pleasure. Like, I'm sorry to cut to you. Pleasure, I don't know. I would imagine they would definitely have the pleasure. And are you talking about masturbation here, or like pleasure in terms of
I'm talking about pleasure, the feeling of pleasure.
Okay.
I'm talking about the feeling of pleasure. They don't share with each other that much.
Okay.
The way that we share with each other, they can't share with each other. They can't be as vulnerable with each other. It's way more difficult for them to come to that place. So, when I'm saying this, I mean that women have an internal capacity to feel a lot. And because we feel a lot, we can multiply feelings. So someone brings joy into the room, we can multiply that joy. Someone brings like sadness and pain into the room, we can multiply that sadness and pain. We can sit with it, we can be sad with them, we can cry for another person so easily, because we have these deep connections, because this deep connection to our emotion makes life worth living.
Okay.
It takes that like fun and makes it joy and bliss and pleasure. It takes sadness and goes into grief and real pain and release. And it's when these emotions move to these extremes that they can be released from the body.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so the way that we are operating, we already have a lot to offer. What was your question about exactly? Could you remind me?
Sorry, I think I lost a little bit. Sorry,
what was the question again? Could you remind me of the question?
So basically, what I'm trying to say is, how do I balance this desire with waiting for the right man versus, actually when physically getting intimate with somebody who I actually find valuable? Right. How do I trust that they are going to stick by what they have been portraying?
Right. So the heroine's journey is going out. Okay, when she grows up, she's told by the world to suppress all of this desire, all of this power, all this passion, everything that she has here, her emotions, right? Her depth of the emotions, the crying, the joy, the laughter, the loudness, all of that we are, is suppressed. It is shamed. It is said, no, don't cry, don't be so loud, don't be prude, don't be rude, don't be a boss, don't be assertive, don't be blah blah blah, don't be angry, don't have pleasure, don't touch yourself, it's too early. right? Everything is suppressed. All of
Correct.
that power that we have is suppressed, and the heroine's
Yeah.
journey is the journey of waking up to that suppression, taking the journey of rediscovering all the power that she already had inside her, and letting go of the shame and the guilt and all of the bullshit that society will tell her.
Mm.
That is the heroine's journey. And
Okay.
so a big part of this is deprogramming the shame that can come with having one partner, multiple partners, etc., all of that, right? That's one. And then the second is, how do you start to deprogram the shame? You look at it objectively. Even if you are married to someone, and even if they stay with you after marriage because you had sex only after marriage, and that's when you discovered that you didn't really get along sexually, even if that is the case, they will still be staying with you only for the contract, which is still not the kind of relationship you want. So even if you have the most ideal situation where you have sex with only one person, and that was after marriage, and now after marriage you discover it wasn't great, you're still in a bad situation. The only difference is that this bad situation isn't looked upon as badly as the situation you would otherwise be in, which is where you have taken the time to deprogram the shame. You've said fuck off to all those people who say that you are now unworthy because you had sex with a certain number of people. And you've started and you've built a life that you actually wanted with a partner you know you want, because you had enough clarity after the sex, before the sex, at every point.
Okay, so objectivity and working through the shame, or the conditioning.
Yeah,
is what
the
you would say.
deconditioning of the shame is the core of all of this. And when you have a conversation like RBDSM, you are showing to that man that, bro, I am not controlled by shame, which means I am not going to be controlled by any of the tactics that you try.
Got it.
Which
But
is where that power
having
comes
those
from.
conversations give a certain kind of idea to certain people that I don't know. At least that's what I feel, that being too open about sex or whatever, then they tend to have the direction only.
Then they can have whatever they have in their head. It's their head. It's not yours.
Yeah. So when it is the right time to have this talk?
So I would have this talk after I've had enough dates with the person that I know that I want to explore physical intimacy with them, and I would have this talk after I've kissed them and made out with them a little bit. So it's like we've already started to get intimate, but I'm making it clear that I'm not going to go beyond this level without that clarity.
Yeah. Okay.
And so now, instead of creating my boundaries on the basis of society has told me not to have sex with anyone, I have to make sure that I have sex with only that one right person. Instead of creating this idea of my boundaries from something external people told me, I'm creating my boundaries on the basis of clarity. If you are capable of giving me clarity, and in this conversation, I sense integrity in you, which is again something that you will feel. So you have to have a good touch with your feelings, with your compass, your internal compass. And the trauma and the shame and all of that will mess up the compass. It'll show you north when it's actually you're going south.
Okay.
So that's the inner work. That's the question that was asked earlier about how do you become Parvati. The inner work is, it'll show up when you have this level of clarity, when you can have these difficult conversations. But the inner work, the tapasya itself, is how do I deprogram the shame? How do I remove everything that takes me away from my internal compass, my desire, my true passion, my ability to see this is north and this is where I want to go. And that involves the bigger state, like what do I want to create in my life? Which house do I want to live in? What kind of partner do I want? What family do I want? The bigger stuff. And then also the smaller stuff. In this moment, am I fully in touch with my body to the level where I know exactly when I'm hungry, what I'm hungry for, what I want to eat, how much of it I want to eat. And when I eat it, I know even if I'm halfway through the bite, that now I'm full, I don't want anymore. And even if my plate is full and people will shame me for wasting all this food, I don't care, because this is what my body needs. And it's about being there. And when I'm there, and for me as a woman, I'm always caring about other people anyway. It's naturally biologically programmed into me to care for other people. So when I become more selfish, I'm actually becoming more me. I'm actually becoming closer to who I'm supposed to be. I'm doing the spiritual growth to work on the thing that is difficult by becoming selfish. For men, they have to come out of being selfish and into being more caring for other people. For us, we have to go become more selfish because the caring for other people comes naturally. Okay.
Then
Um,
can I?
yeah, we can take one more question maximum, and then I'm gonna have to close.
Niharika here.
Yeah.
Just following up on what you just said. So I get the point on going on the spiritual uh, path towards becoming Parvati, but I'm not still clear on how to uh, or maybe it's just I'm a little lost on um, how does one in the pursuit of not being a Shiva and in the pursuit of uh, having control of our own energy deal with the physical pleasure, because our hormones are also changing literally on a weekly basis, and there are desires that still come to someone who's not maybe sexually active or maybe sexually active. While I get it that once you're on the spiritual journey, you have more ways of channelizing that energy, but uh, uh, physical or sexual energy per se is not bad. It's good to go through and quench that as well. So um in this journey, how do you deal with this part? I'm
With your
a
physical
little
desire.
lost.
Oh, that's the whole point, that you're following your physical
With the
desire.
urges, is
Urges.
it only through the spiritual way, or
So no, it's not, right? Like I'm saying, I have hookups myself. If I want to, I have a hookup. And like,
I may not be wanting a hookup,
so what are you
but
saying
I'm still
exactly?
looking at channelizing that energy constructively in a way that will not make me feel like God, I'm missing out on
Yeah, then that's
that.
spiritual. If you don't want to do it physically, and there doesn't look to be a specific way to resources and books to explore this are this exactly, radical intimacy. You can put this in the comments. Someone can put Radical Intimacy by Zoe Kors, Kors. So Niharika, sorry, um, when I'm speaking of being intimate, it's either the physical, the emotional, or the energetic. We talked about that, right? So when I'm doing that, if I don't want it physically, then I have to go into the energetic and the emotional. So emotional will come to me from girl friendships, sisterhood, good connection with sisters, um, partnerships with other people, you know, friendship or work partnership or colleagues, whatever, other kinds of relationships, family. There I get emotional intimacy. And then I have the energetic intimacy, which is this work, which is the Tantra, the Isis tradition, these, like Mary Magdalene's book, um, the Magdalene manuscript, has a lot of practices that were taught to Jesus that actually were the reason why Jesus was able to resurrect himself. And they were taught to him by Mary Magdalene, who, even today, if you look at the popular culture, is known as the whore that Jesus first appeared to after his resurrection. And she's considered the character that, oh, so pitiful. Jesus was so, big hearted that he appeared to a whore for the first time after his death. But actually, he appeared to her because she's the one who taught him all of the practices that even gave him the ability to be resurrected. And she taught him that through sexual practices, using the sexual energy to be life force energy, which is the spiritual stuff which I haven't gotten into in this too much because that's a bit outside of the scope of this discussion. But yeah, I will be giving you guys a little exercise to do after this. It also has my contact, my IG, WhatsApp, and all of that. You can always get in touch with me. And this exercise is exactly for this. It's to start deprogramming the shame. So I don't know if I think Madhu said that you have done a practice like this where you've like looked at all of the bad beliefs that you may have and changed them into good beliefs, right? Positive, healthy, useful beliefs to keep. So we're going to do exactly that. We're going to do that with sexual beliefs. So I have a list that I just thought of, but you can add your own. Once you've read it, it'll jog your mind and you'll think, okay, yeah, there's this also, there's that also. So add your own, there's a whole list. You choose out of those, you choose the top 20, you choose the top 10, and then you come to the top 3 that have the deepest impact on you. And you take those beliefs and you argue against them. So you will use your own arguments against them. And how will you inform these arguments? By looking it up on YouTube or by just thinking about it intuitively. What really feels right? Does it really feel right that women are just meant to live this life where they don't get any pleasure? They have to wait until marriage for sex. And then, even then, they have sex with some guy who's so inexperienced and so incapable of even feeling his own feelings that he can't even think about pleasuring her. Like, do we really think that God put us on this planet to feel this shitty about our lives? And also gave us an amazing clitoris that can feel everything in the world if we just touch it? Why would the gods or the universe or whoever do that to us? This is like it's a reality that they had to program us into, and they had to like shove this program into our brains so that we would believe it because it's so crazy, this concept. So argue against yourself and then create your own affirmations, the right beliefs for you. And that's going to be most of the mental process, but it's going to take a lot more physical work. And that's something that you would need to really engage with to get into. Okay. I think we really have to close this now. It's 10:20. It's really late. But I'd be happy to receive any of your questions on text. My WhatsApp and stuff should be in the worksheet. I'll just share with you the worksheet. And maybe, Madhu, you can share it with them personally as well so that those who have left the meeting will get it. The book name is Radical Intimacy, Zoe Cause, and also Magdalene Manuscript for the spiritual practices that really elevate you. And these are said to be the same practices that Parvati did, the same practices that Inanna did, who's from the Mesopotamian tradition. And there's so many stories of powerful goddess women doing sexual practices to get in touch with their power. And it makes so much sense because men have their physical prowess, they can like physically beat someone up. What do we have? How did we survive all these years in the wild? We must have some power, right? And that's this. We have the power to magnetize someone, to make their life so beautiful and so much worth living that they are willing to sacrifice their own life to protect us, even after we've had their kids. Like, we could have their kids and then die. There are many species in the natural world that do that. Like, they have a child and then they die. Either the male or the female of the species dies after the child is born. But that's not our species. So there's some reason why they chose to keep us safe for all this time. Because our power is in that magnetism. Our power is in the fact that we create the desire that pulls them instead of just pushing them from fear. Yeah, Magdalene Manuscript is the other book.
Thank you so much, Dhanushka. This was a lovely session. I think it was an eye-opening session. It's an absolute pleasure to hear so much from you.
Thank
In fact,
you.
a lot of the concepts made a lot of sense today when we talked about Sati, when we talked about the Parvati over here and the energy of Shiva. I think it's more clear to each one of us over here now as to what we do and why we do. Thank you so much for so much of clarity. And yes, please do share your contact and other details so that we can get in touch with you.
Yes, everything's in the
Yeah.
worksheet that I've shared with you.
Oh,
So yeah, so just
yeah.
you could just share that with everyone and it should be available.
Sure. One more thing, I want all of you to go to the WhatsApp group and please write a lovely message for Dhanushka. Express your gratitude, express whatever you feel like. Because I think a lot of blocks have disappeared today after hearing you. So please go to the WhatsApp group, just write Dhanushka and give your message to Dhanushka so that she feels good about whatever she's done. I'm sure she's proud of whatever she's done, but then yeah, let us do our little bit by thanking her. I want all of you to go to the chat box. Please do that in our WhatsApp group, not here because this chat will disappear. And do mention her name. Thank you, Dhanushka.
Thank you so much, Madhu.
And yeah,
I just want to quickly say that if you know, if there's a lot of things can open up after a conversation like this. Sexual trauma, sexual shame, it's something that lives very deeply in us. So please feel free to reach out to me if you feel like you have a lot of resistance to anything that you heard. If you know some pain, some memories that you didn't want to access have come up, like a lot of difficult things can happen here, and this is a very big group, so we can't really work with each one of you, but I'm open to receiving any one of you and doing some trauma work if that is needed, if this session has like opened up anything for you. So please feel free to reach out. Thank you. And Bhagyashri and Pooja, if you have a question that I can answer quickly, you could share that. Madhu, is that okay for a couple minutes? Yeah.
Please go ahead.
I didn't realize I still had my hat on. It's a very personal thing that I would say. So if you have really 5 minutes, then okay, that's completely fine. Although we have talked a lot about this integrity and things like that, and I'm kind of person who goes by her values. And there was a moment last year when I was emotionally very vulnerable, and my emotions were at a very low or high. I don't know, and I was under the influence of alcohol as well, and I slept with someone I didn't even want to look at. That's the kind of person who is. And in a day or two, I was like, okay, I just have to move on. I flushed it somewhere out of my memory and I moved on in my life. After a few months, I got to know that I got STD because of that experience. And it's been 6 or 7 months that physical health condition is not getting completely resolved. Although I know that's gonna be okay eventually, but it's kind of a constant reminder of that thing, and also the way I, you know, disregarded my own values just for an instant. That's the thing that's been bothering me. I've tried to tell myself different stories a lot of time that it's okay to make mistakes, and that was just a one-time thing, and that doesn't mean I didn't I didn't hold true to my values or what, but again, it's just keeps on coming up. And that health condition is a constant reminder.
Yeah. Is this a permanent STD?
I don't think so. I mean, gynacs say it's not, but there are different opinions I've got from different gynacs, and they say that it could be permanent, it could be temporary. That there's not short treatment to that.
Yeah.
It may impact your sex life a bit, and for me, I have very deep desires for that, and I'm a kind of person who wants a warm sex life. That's the kind of person I am.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of hitting on that part as well, that because of this situation I am in, that might also get impacted eventually.
Mm.
So it's just
I hear you, and it is really hard. But a lot of the time, so I've had, for example, I've had a client who had scoliosis, the spine thing, and she, longest time she was like, why do I have this, why do I have to deal with this, and it's like it's there and it's there and it's always there, and it's such a huge issue. And when we worked, we found that the scoliosis was her body's way of saying you are not balanced, because it creates an imbalance, you know. So it was her body's way of saying you are not balanced. That was the message the body wanted to give her, that you're always in your feminine, you're always in that sati mode, you're always with other people, pleasing people, doing things for other people, stuff like that. You're never doing anything for yourself, you don't have your own boundaries. So she was literally completely bent to the left, like her body would be bent to the left always, and the left is supposed to be the feminine side. So um so when we worked, we discovered this, and we created new ways for her body to give her, for her to give her body exactly what it needs. So how can you create the boundaries that you need to create? What is it that the body is always giving us messages, pain, trauma, the like repeated memories coming back. It's all a message from the body. Everything that we feel, the grief, the pain, the suffering, the hurt, the disease that we keep, a disease may come and then it'll go. If the immune system is not able to fight it, it's because the immune system is occupied doing something else. So what is that something else? That's the somatic work. And when you do that, then you can maybe start to discover where this can come from. I've had clients who had, like, in the middle of a heart attack, they were doing somatic work. And because he did that somatic work in the middle of the heart attack, he reached the hospital. That the nurses were like, why do you, how is it possible that you're conscious right now? they and they were giving him less than half the medication of what he would normally take if he was any other heart attack patient, because he was listening to the message as it was coming. So very often when our body is keeping these things, it tends to be a message, even if it's something very permanent like HSV. HIV and AIDS we won't talk about because that is quite intense for the body, but even there, if the body and the immune system is very capable and you have the right medication, you can hold off for a long time. And it can also get to a stage where it is non-transmittable. But let's not talk about the extreme cases. Let's talk about the normal cases, right? HSV, syphilis, etc. Syphilis and all are not permanent anyway, but HSV is supposed to be permanent. But you won't have a breakout unless the body wants to give you a message. And I've worked with people like this. I've worked with HSV patients who are constantly having breakouts, and I've worked with people who don't have constant breakouts. And I see that there's clearly a difference in the body giving them a message every time they have a breakout. I had one client, every time she had a breakout of HSV on her lip and all, it would always be her body is not feeling good about the men she's sleeping with, but she's still continuing to sleep with them. So it has created an automatic mechanism by which she cannot sleep with them anymore, right? Like, the body is saying you don't have enough control over yourself, you don't know how to take care of yourself, so I have to take care of you for you. And how can I do that as a part of your body? I can only create diseases, I can create pain, I can create hurt and suffering in some way. That's all I can do. Yeah.
okay. So I'd kind of find where that no, but this diseases.
Take support. Take support in finding
Okay.
that. Yeah. Find a somatic
See.
therapist. You can come to me, or if you want a different kind of practice, find something that is going to be more somatic, that will take you into the depths of what it actually wants to say. And I've had people do this for like 21 days. They do the practice. So, like, you could be taught in one session what the flow is. You do the practice 21, 30 days, the disease can change very drastically because the message
Okay.
changes. The body doesn't want to give you that message anymore. I've had people lose 5-6 kilos in one session Like at the end of one session, 1 week later, they've lost 5-6 kilos because the body didn't need to keep the weight. The reason she was keeping the weight is because her body didn't believe she was capable of protecting herself. She was always getting molested by people in a bus or whatever because her attention is somewhere else. So the body has created physical distance between her and the next person by creating so much weight around the belly. Only the belly. Can you imagine? Like the body is that intelligent that it created the physical distance between her and the next person by just giving her all the weight in the belly. And when we worked on this and we told her, okay, now you're going to take self responsibility for your protection, you're going to start being more alert and aware, you're going to start traveling in a way that you actually can travel, safely. If you are ready to, if you can afford it, why should you travel by train and bus and be more cautious and aware all the time? So she can afford it, but she didn't change her habit because she can afford it. So she changed her habits, she took responsibility for her safety, and her body no longer responds like that. She lost like 8 kgs in the next week. So yeah, when you listen to the message, it'll make sense. But whatever I tell you is just me. So
Thank you for that.
thank you. Bhagyashree?
Yeah, hi, thanks, Denishta. I wanted to ask that you told how Shiva hold the space for Kali when needed. So, doesn't men also want us to do the same for them?
Yeah, that's our presence only, no? That's who we are. That's not a choice. If a woman is in her feminine energy, like if she has even like a slightest touch of her feminine energy, you know even then she is already going to be a healing presence for him.
Oh.
Like because you have emotional intelligence, you can feel your emotions. If you feel your emotions, you expect the other person to have emotions. You speak to them like they have emotions, and suddenly they start to discover they have emotions. Before that they didn't know. Before that they say, I thought I didn't feel anything about this, I thought this was not important. Now that I'm telling you all of this, I'm discovering it's important, right? So that's already natural. That's what I mean, that we, like, it's true that we are a prize, but it's not great to see ourselves that way. you know it's true that the egg is the most scarce resource, and we are a prize, and our presence itself is the prize. The egg already has everything, it doesn't need anything else. It already has everything. The sperm just has to come. That's one tiny cell, way smaller than the egg. It just has to come, and then the woman and the sperm and the egg and the woman's body does everything, which means we naturally are already in a state where we have everything. The only reason we are not able to connect with people, we're not able to do the normal things we would do as women, build a community, have empathy, connect with people, all of that. The only reason we're not able to do that is because of trauma and shame, which is the heroine's journey. It's the process of getting out of that place of believing the shit that everyone else has told you, and getting into the place where you really feel your power and you know that you have it. You remember that it's yours.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Really grateful to be here. And
thank you so much. Thank you for all that extra time that you've given us, Anushka.
I'm sorry I wasn't able to
everybody's
do
questions.
the sensitivity building pleasure practice. I really wanted to, but I felt like these questions were more important to answer. Yeah, but maybe some other
share
time.
that with us? Madhu can put it on the group. These practices that you're talking about.
Yeah, I can share.
The playful practice is not something that we can put it on the group, but then yeah, we'll see if Dhanushka can actually help out with it maybe some other time.
So yeah, I've already shared with you a practice that's going to start you on this journey to deprogramming the beliefs around sex. So I want you to do that, and when you're doing that, that's going to be the mental process. Make it as physical as possible, right? Feel in your body, what is it like when I actually have this belief? Like if I made it from women don't want sex, only men want sex, I translate that to women and men both want sex, and we deserve to have the intimacy of sex. Okay, so that now when I feel that, how does that land in my body? That's what I want to feel. Can I dance to that feeling? Can I just listen to music, keep repeating the affirmation, and dance? make it, get it, bring it more into my body. When I'm breathing, breathe as if I'm breathing in that belief. Bring it as much as possible into the body. And yeah, if we meet again, we'll definitely do the practice.
All right. So
Thank
whatever
you.
is being shared with me, my phone is dead. I'll get in touch with you girls tomorrow morning and then tell you everything. I'm on a borrowed phone right now. So thank you so much, everyone, and thanks, Anushka, once again. Really grateful.
Thank you, loves.
Thank you, Tanisha. Thank you, Madhuma.
Tanisha, I'll connect with you tomorrow morning for sure.
Thank you, Tanisha. It's really very
Oh,
helpful.
wow, yes.
Thank you so much.
Yay! Thank you for joining. See you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.